Nobody talks about love the way these two do. And if you have been following Dylan Wang and Shen Yu for any amount of time, you already know that when either one of them opens up about love and what it actually means to them, the entire internet stops scrolling and starts paying attention. That is not an accident. That is not celebrity mystique working overtime. That is two people who have lived something real speaking about it in a way that most people spend their whole lives searching for the words to describe. What has come out recently about how DyShen individually and collectively view love and commitment has genuinely caught people off guard, and not in the dramatic headline-grabbing way that this fandom is sometimes used to. This one landed differently. This one felt quieter and more honest, and because of that, somehow much louder. If you are new to this channel and you want to be here every single time something like this drops, hit subscribe right now, because we do not let these moments pass without giving them the attention they deserve. Dylan Wang has never been the kind of person who performs emotion for an audience. Anyone who has followed him long enough knows that when he goes quiet on something personal, it is because he is actually feeling it deeply, not because he has nothing to say. So when he finally chose to speak on the subject of love and what commitment means to him at this point in his life, the weight behind his words was impossible to miss. He spoke about love not as something that arrives and stays effortlessly, but as something that requires a person to show up even when showing up is the hardest thing in the world. He talked about the kind of commitment that does not bend when circumstances get complicated, and listening to him you got the overwhelming sense that he was not speaking in theory. He was speaking from somewhere very specific and very personal. Shen Yu, on the other hand, approached the same subject from a completely different angle, and that contrast is part of what makes their dynamics so endlessly fascinating to watch. Where Dylan speaks about love with this quiet intensity that feels almost like a confession, Shen Yu talks about it with a kind of tender clarity that makes you feel like she has already made her peace with the harder parts of it. She spoke recently about how she understands now that love is not about holding on as tightly as you can. It is about being brave enough to remain open even after you have been hurt, even after the story did not go the way you planned, even when staying open feels like the most vulnerable and terrifying thing a person can do. That single idea alone sent her fans into an absolute spiral, because those are not the words of someone speaking casually about a concept. Those are the words of someone who has walked through something and come out the other side, still choosing softness over bitterness. That is not a small thing. That is one of the hardest things a human being can do. What is striking about the way DyShen talks about commitment is that despite coming at it from different emotional angles, they are somehow describing the same thing. Dylan talks about staying. Shen Yu talks about remaining open. And when you hold those two ideas next to each other, what you get is actually a complete picture of what real lasting love requires. It requires one person committed to not walking away and another person committed to not closing themselves off. It requires both things at the same time, and it requires them from two people who are both willing to keep choosing it even when everything around them is uncertain. The fans who have been in this community longest are saying that these recent words from both of them feel like a new chapter beginning rather than an old one ending. There is something in the energy of what they are both expressing right now that feels forward-facing. Like two people who have done a lot of internal work arriving at a place of honesty that they could not have reached any earlier than right now. And maybe that is the most beautiful thing about following a story like this one. The moments that hit hardest are never the dramatic ones. They are moments like this. Two people, separately and together, figuring out what love actually asks of them and being honest enough to say it out loud. We will keep watching. Make sure you are here when the next chapter unfolds.